Hey, it's the Everyday Mentor, Tanea Hunter, coming to you live from Detroit, Michigan. I hope that everyone is having a good day today. We've been blessed to have another day of life, health, and strength. We've been blessed to be able to see, to be able to hear, to be able to talk. So thankful. We've been protected. So I just give God praise for that. Hopefully you all again have had a good day today and you've made it to this point in your day. So you've made it through the day. You've made it through the week. You've made it another moment. You've made it another second, another time. If you are here with me live, please say hello down in the comment section. And if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and drop a 1 below so that I'll know that you were here. Thank you for joining me for Young Ladies Chat, the first in many series that we will be having. And tonight we will be discussing my newly published book, Dear Young Lady. I reached out to a couple of young ladies who bought the book, asked what their thoughts were on, quotes that spoke to them or really what stood out to them or how they saw themselves in a particular quote. And so I got some really great feedback. I got way more that I could possibly do tonight in this young ladies chat, but don't worry, we are already preparing for a part 2. One of my young ladies was like, you already know it's going to a part 2, so you just might as well get prepared. So yeah, we're going to have a part 2. But don't worry if you're hopping on this live and you don't have the book yet, or if you're watching the replay and you don't have the book, you can still purchase a book at my website, TaneyaNHunter.com. TaneyaN Hunter.com. If someone would be so kind to type that down in the comment section, please, where people can purchase books. And also, if you're a Kindle kind of girl or the young lady you want to buy the book for likes Kindle, it can also be downloaded on Amazon. Just type in Dear Young Lady in the search bar. So I think I got all those things out of the way. Hello, everybody. Hello. I think I got all those things out of the way because if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, I don't believe in wasting time. I don't believe in waiting for 10, 20 people to hop on. I believe in giving my audience my full attention. And since you all are here, we're going to hop to it. So hopefully you all have your books, those of you who've purchased the book or downloaded the book, so that we can go through it together. And so I have 4 quotes tonight that I'm going to go over that were sent to me that were dear to these young women, that were that spoke to them. So I'm going to go through those, and not in any particular order. So the first one, turn in your books please to page 57, and I'll turn with you. Okay, so the quote on page 57 says, be careful, busy does not always equal accomplished. So nowadays we see, what's the word I'm looking for? We see, young women, I'm going to this conference, I'm going to this meeting, I'm taking this class, I'm in this webinar, I'm meeting this person, I'm emailing that one, I'm linking up with somebody on LinkedIn, we've hooked up on Instagram. You're conferencing, you're retreating, you're webinaring, you're schooling, you're doing all these things, but what have you actually accomplished? What have you actually checked off of your list? What all of those thoughts and those ideas and those trainings and things that you've gone to, have you actually taken the time to put into practice what it was that you learned in the training so that you could accomplish whatever it is that you were setting forth to accomplish? So, and again, if you've been following me for any length of time, I have no problem being transparent. A few years ago, that was me. I was spending money, going to conferences, going to workshops, getting all these things. And quite honestly, I just threw all of those books away. I'm doing some cleaning since we've been at home. Threw all those books away because it's like we grasp and we grasp and we grasp and we get knowledge, but yet we don't put it into action. And if we're not going to put the knowledge into action, it doesn't help us. Exactly, Angie, busy work. It does not help us. So we have to be careful that, yes, we may be busy, but is all that busyness actually helping us to get from point A to point B to actually move things forward? Like, so you want to buy a car, so you're running around doing all this research, you're running around doing, all of this, going to these auctions and looking and looking and looking, and you're not buying, but you're looking and looking and looking. Okay, at some point you have to buy the car. At some point you do have to save the money. At some point you do, if you're not buying the car outright, you do have to go to the bank, go to the credit union in order to get the information about what it would take to finance. You need to do something instead. I'm just looking for a car. You're just doing all this research on a car. You're busy, but you're not accomplishing anything. So we have to make sure that when we say that we're busy, we're actually checking things off of the list towards a bigger goal so that we can actually be accomplished. Because otherwise, we're just busy spinning our wheels and we're just talking. And unfortunately, it's really easy to do in this age of social media. We can create such a persona. We can create such a presence to say, oh, look at me. I'm here. I'm there. I'm doing this. But when we actually look at it, it's like, wait a minute. But that person isn't actually producing anything. That person isn't actually, like, nothing's being birthed. Nothing's being produced. So young lady, don't let that be you. Assess yourself. Look and see, are you just spinning your wheels, or are you actually legitimately checking things off because you're actually taking the little steps to get to the bigger thing? The next one, well, any questions about that or commentary, put it down in the chats below. Because when you're just busy, you can get tired really quick. And because you're just doing stuff, and research is good, trainings are good, webinars are good, but again, unless you actually put down you implement what you've been taught, what you've learned, then that's the only way you can become accomplished. That's the only way that you can move forward. So let's go to the second one, page 45, in Dear Young Lady. And that one says, love the skin you're in. Love everything about yourself. Love you. Now, I'm 42. So to an 18-year-old, I'm pretty old. let's just keep it real. So an 18-year-old, I'm pretty old. But at the same time, even though it was not social media for me back when I was 18, back when I was 16, or even 20 or 22, there were still magazines, there were still television shows, there was still movies. But now in this age of scrolling and social media, it's so easy to feel so confident and so beautiful and great. But as soon as you start scrolling, oh, her hair is longer than mine. Oh, look at her makeup. She applied it like just perfectly. Oh man, like listen to her voice. She sings so beautifully. Oh man, did you see how like she put her outfit together? She must have a ton of money because that outfit looks really, really nice. And then it's like we look at what everybody else is doing, how everyone else is styled, how everyone else is showing up in the world with their gifts and their talents and their abilities. And then we kind of sit back and just think, oh, it must not be too much to me. It must not, I must not be as great as them, and that's further from the truth. We have to learn to love ourselves. I always say flaws and all. Ever since I can remember, I've always liked my teeth, my front tooth. There's another tooth fused behind the first one. I remember I was little going to the dentist and they were, thinking about, well, maybe we might be able to pull this tooth. Maybe we might be able to do that. But they're literally fused together. So if they pulled the tooth behind it, I wouldn't have a front tooth. All the time, kids were like, well, there's something wrong with you and this, that, and the other, blah, blah. But I've learned to love myself because I'm not awkward. I'm not weird. I'm not deformed in any way. It takes nothing away from who I am. And even in the climate that's going on today, I love my black skin. And I love my beautiful skin. I love my shade. I love my tone. I love being black. And there's nothing wrong with us loving ourselves for, who we are, for our thoughts, our quirks, our kinks, what makes us us. Yeah, exactly, Angie. There's always going to be someone who's more than you. Exactly. Like, none of us all have it 100% in every area. And I really do believe God did that by design so that none of us could get proudful and boastful in any one area. It's like you may be really, really great over here, but over here we need some work. You might do excellent up here, but over there we need to get some work. We need to work on that because we can find ourselves struggling with anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, all because we're looking at someone else and not appreciating who we are. And so what I did was I went to the Word of God for this one, Psalm 139:14. And I like the way the New Living Translation says it. And it says, "Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex," meaning thank you, God, for making me so wonderfully complex. "Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." What God does is marvelous. How he created us is marvelous. Our fingerprints, nobody else has the same fingerprints as we do. The nobody has what I have and you don't have what I have, and vice versa. In the sense that my fingerprints are different, the shape of my eyes are different, and we don't have to look and to feel like I don't think that I'm the best. What God makes is wonderful. And think about it. All of the internal systems that we have like the circulatory system, we have the nervous system, all these different areas in our body that are so wonderfully complex, but yet so elegantly placed. And so even where God has placed us in our families, where God has placed us in our places of employment, in schools, it was not by happenstance. It was not by just arbitrary. He did it for a reason, and he created us the way that he did. And so we have every right to love who we are, skin and all, hair, fingernails, toes, the whole 9 yards. We have a right to love ourselves, and it's nothing wrong with you loving yourself. And because you have to love yourself so that we can love others, because we're commanded to love others. So I always encourage young women, love yourself, love yourself. Let's hop to page 24, and I can flip back through the comments and things and we can chit chat some more. Hopefully you all are enjoying this. Yes, ma'am. We are, the King James Version says we are fearfully and wonderfully made, but we are beautiful as well. We are beautiful because he created us. He made us. So page 24, the quote says, "Hold your head up. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You are not the only one who has made a mistake. Get up and keep moving." When I was sent this quote, one of the young ladies was saying like, man, sometimes because of things I've done in my past, I keep thinking to myself like, like, and I told her, I said, that was something that I struggled with as well. That is something that, especially when you have public mistakes and you have public failings, when everybody knows what you did or what happened or what you said or just whatever. And especially in this age of social media, everything is caught. It's all fun and games until you get caught and your video gets circulated around. And I try to remember that as I watch what we call some of these funny videos. But at the same time, everyone has had a mistake. Everyone has had a failing. I'm not saying that you're a failure, but everyone has had a failing. Everyone has had something where they weren't at their best. They weren't at their prime. They weren't optimal. And it may have been embarrassing, and they may have fallen down. They may have just been extremely embarrassed. But the thing is, you don't just lay there. You don't just, oh, I tripped. You don't just lay there. You get up. You stand up, and then you walk in the right direction. You walk the way that you're supposed to walk. And so that when people try to say, oh yeah, but you used to. Exactly. I used to. I'm no longer there. I used to be there, but I'm no longer there. You can recover after a mistake. You can recover after a failure. You can recover. There is recovery. And too often we allow, too often we allow others to bring us back, right back to the place where we fell, when we are so far past it, where we're not even thinking the same way we used to. We're not even hanging with the same people. We don't even have the same thought processes anymore. But we allow people to, girl, remember when you used to be having a different guy every night. You used to get drunk. You used to be high. Sometimes you weren't even able to keep a job. Yeah, used to. That's not me anymore. People change, and so we cannot allow people to hold us to our mistakes, to hold us to our past, to hold us to who we used to be. I don't even care if it was yesterday. Because here's the thing. Once you change your mind, your body, it'll follow. Once you've made up in your mind that, yeah, I don't ever want to be at this place again. I don't ever want to feel like this again. And you make it up in your mind and you begin to go the other direction. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. And those that know me well, and some of the folks from my church are on this live, those that know me well know that I love the Rocky series. Love it, all of them, except for 5, but we're not going to talk about that. But I love it because every time Rocky got knocked down, he got back up. Even when he lost fights, he got back up, went and trained even harder to come back and beat his opponent. You can't allow yourself to stay down. You can't allow yourself to stay in the place where you had the failing, where you had the failure. You have to get up and move forward and not stay in that place and not be in that place. Yes, Sister Carol, we all have messed up. We all have done something. And for those that try to tell you that they haven't, they're flat out lying. Yeah, I said it. They're flat out lying, because what I find amazing about us as humans is that we understand that nobody's perfect, but yet we want other people to be perfect. How do we do that? We all understand that nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But yet we expect everybody to be perfect. Think about that. But yeah, everybody has had a failing, but you can recover. There's recovery. You can move forward from that. You do not have to stay there. The only way you stay there is if you do not get up, you do not move, you do not change. And we ain't about that life, young lady. We get up. We get up. So let's look at page 20. Let's look at page 20. And this is a good one. And I probably have a story for like each one of these quotes, but I won't do that to y'all. But this is a good one. Page 20. She may be just as insecure in that area as you are. Young lady, you can admire and be dope at the same time. No need to try and be anyone else. It'll never work. Remember, she is already taken. So often, I'll just use myself as an example for this one. I have a couple of friends that are quiet. They're just like, quiet. I'm boisterous. I'm loud. I'm dramatic. I'm all of that. And I'm sure you can see it from the live. I'm all of that. And I don't have a problem being vocal. I don't have a problem expressing my opinion, my thoughts, or what have you. And a couple of my friends have said, man, I really admired that. I really, but at the same time, and I've told quite a few of them, yeah, I do all of that, but sometimes I am scared, depending upon the issue. Sometimes I am a little bit nervous, like, whoa, slow up. Like, do you really want to say this? Is this the right time to say this? Is this so? Even though it may seem like I'm 95% of the time I am comfortable in front of a camera, in front of people, I am. But then there's that other 5% where I'm like, ooh, do I want to speak? And my friends are like, oh my gosh, you're lying. No lie, no exaggeration. Even getting ready to do this live tonight, I was nervous because I'm getting ready to talk about my book. And even though the book is published, people have bought it, sometimes there's still that little bit of, excuse me, what if somebody doesn't like it? Well, what if somebody gives it a bad review? Never mind the fact of the people all the people who said that they love it, the people that have texted me, that have called me, but it's like, well, what if? And so a lot of times we admire and we look at other young women and we think, man, if I could just be like her, or if I can just do it the way that she's doing it, or if I can just, but she's sitting back thinking, man, if I could just probably get a little bit of hers. Because I've told some of my quiet friends, I wish I could be quiet. I wish I could be just a little bit more, like, laid back. Like, so I'm sitting back admiring what they don't even like in themselves. And so, young lady, we have to learn how to be settled within ourselves and know that it's okay that even though I may be good at this, it's okay to admire somebody else who might be a little bit better, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you're still good at it. It doesn't take away from the fact that all of us have something. We don't like to admit it. We don't like to talk about it, but I'm here for it. We all have something. We all have something. So, young lady, it doesn't have to be a thing of, well, because I'm not like her, I'm not still dope too. You can admire and be dope in the areas where you're not so great in, the areas where you're not so polished. Hey, Keith, the areas where you're not so polished, take a class, talk to somebody else, find out who's doing what. Because too often we sit back and we say, and again, I can tell you from experience, we sit back and we say, oh, well, I can't do that. But we won't even try. We won't even look up a class. We won't even ask a question. We just sit back and say, oh, I don't know how. And then we're just stuck. But if there's an area where you're trying to be dope at too, find out how to do it. Or better yet, even ask her how. Hey, Antoinette, her daughter just graduated high school, like future engineer, #future engineer. What's the word I'm looking for? That just excited me real quick. That just excited me. But find out, like, talk to that young lady. How is she dope in that area? What do you need to learn? Let's stop being scared to ask a question. And if that young lady doesn't want to share, that's fine. On to the next one. If it's something that you need to know and something that you need to grow and to develop, you don't let that one no stop you. You don't let that oh, well, she told me no. She's not the only person in the world. See, I'm being dramatic again. I felt it. I'm being dramatic again. But she's not the only person in the world. And so this one is kind of like on the top of my head. Young lady, don't give up too quickly. Like, don't give up too quickly. Unfortunately, I see a lot of young women, especially within like that 18 to 25 range, just giving up too quickly. I tried to go to school, but mama wouldn't help me. I tried to buy a car and nobody would do this. I tried to do this, and the first sign of like little pushback, you fall back. But yet, let some girl call you out your name, it's on sight. It's on sight. Where's that same tenacity when you're trying to accomplish your goals? Or are you just too busy being busy? Because real talk, the thing is, the only way you're going to accomplish anything is if you have some grit, is if you have some tenacity, if you have some type of oomph about yourself. And if mama couldn't help you, God bless mama. Maybe she didn't have it. Maybe she didn't know. Whatever it is, go to your sister, go to your aunt, go to your cousin, go to a trusted mentor, go to a teacher. There are ways. There are avenues. There is information. There are things out here. But if you fall back and crumble at the first sign of trouble, you're never going to get to where you need to be. You're never going to get to accomplish anything. And I don't say that to be harsh or to be mean, but it's truth. It's truth. Again, referring back to, I told y'all, I love Rocky. I love the Rocky series. The only way he won the fights because he trained hard and he didn't get up. Every time he was hit, he got back up. Every time he was knocked down, he got back up. And in Rocky 1, if you remember, because I know all of them, in Rocky 1, if you remember, Apollo kept knocking him down, but he kept getting up. And at one point, Apollo looked like, almost like, dude, stay down. But he kept getting up and was like, come on. So, young lady, I encourage you tonight. Here's one that's not even in the book. Get some grit about yourself. Get some toughness about yourself, because we have all that energy. Like we said, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy for your goals and for what it is that you're trying to accomplish when you're trying to cuss her out because she called you out of a name. Keep that same energy while you going through his phone, wondering why he talking to this one and talking to that one. Keep that same energy and accomplish something. Keep that same energy and finish school. Keep the same energy and work towards a promotion on your job. Keep that same energy. Just we gotta keep that same energy. Yes, Antoinette, get some grit about yourself, girl, because we do a whole lot of talking. A whole lot of talking about what she and I'm not going and blah blah blah. But the first minute they say, oh, I'm sorry, you weren't accepted into such and such college. I guess it's just not meant for me to go to school. I'm just going to go get a job. I'm just going to go. Okay, maybe that college. So it's not another one? They're not an abundance of colleges and universities for you to choose. Okay, maybe that one said no, but are there not? There are options. There are options, young lady. This part so was not scripted, but amen, because you got to have some grit about yourself, and it's not even a bash on younger women. It's not a bash on millennials. It's not a bash on Generation Z. It's just an observation, and it's not all of you, but some of you, you need to toughen up. You need to get some thicker skin. You need to, like I said, keep that same energy. Like when she cuts you out and you got all of this on site, you got all of it. You not about to be deterred because you getting ready to whoop her tail on site. Keep that same energy. Get into school, work for the promotion, write the book, open the business, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, get it done. Get it done. I hope that you all enjoy Young Ladies Chat. We are definitely gonna do a part 2, because like I said, I reached out to a couple young ladies and asked for some quotes, and I got more than I could even share in this video. So we are definitely going to do Young Ladies Chat again. It will always be on the first Thursday of the month. So the next first Thursday is Thursday, July the 2nd. And we're going to do part 2. Excuse me, I dropped the book, of Dear Young Lady. If you would like to purchase a copy of Dear Young Lady, it can be purchased from my website, TaneyaNHunter.com, TaneyaN Hunter.com. Can someone please put that down in the comment section? Tanea N Hunter, TaneyaN Hunter.com. I hope that you all have enjoyed Young Ladies Chat. I enjoyed Young Ladies Chat with you. Thank you, Antoinette. I enjoyed Young Ladies Chat with you. And it will always be at 9 o'clock unless, the rapture takes place, or, somebody gives me like an abundance of money and I'm going to probably take like a long vacation. But other than that, it will always be on the first Thursday of the month at 9 p.m. So make sure you share it with another young lady. Make sure you share it with your niece, your daughter, your cousin, your co-worker, someone who could use some encouragement, someone who could use some uplifting, because we've seen enough discouragement and just we've seen enough of it. Thank you, Taylor. I'm glad you loved it. Make sure you share it with your other young ladies. So thank you all for hopping on. Definitely be on the lookout for more posts regarding Young Ladies Chat. And if you have the book, hop in my inbox. Let me know what quote stood out to you, and maybe we can tackle that one as well. Hopefully you all have a good evening, and I will catch you next first Thursday for Young Ladies Chat Part 2. Dear Young Lady, you all have a good evening.